Yeah, it's time for Cup of Tech Gumbo. Yes, it's time to welcome in Haggai Davis. What's happening, dude?
I'm just so excited. Gonna have a great weekend. The St. Jude Parish Fair is this
How
weekend.
do y'all pull that off? Y'all have, your campus is this tiny little corner, and it's like a whole city within a corner. I don't know how y'all do that.
It's kind of like Tetris.
Very, very much. Yes.
We are very efficient with our space.
I know. I know. It's glorious, though, because the way Highland Road is up above.
Oh yeah,
So when you're driving on Highland Road, you're still eye level with the Ferris wheel. It's a cool vibe.
it's a lot of fun.
Yes, it is. So St. Jude Fair this weekend. Hey, recap last weekend. How was the march?
Oh man, that is just so much fun. That wearing of the green is just my favorite day of the year. I mean,
Oh, yeah, by the way, when I say march, I mean marching in the parade, not like he wasn't protesting or anything.
correct.
Okay.
So yes,
Yeah.
that whole the whole got to meet Christy and
Yeah,
James
Christy had a
and
few of the
Abby.
kids out there.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I mean, it's just coming down that Perkins Road overpass and thousands of people just screaming. It's just amazing.
It's an overwhelming scene. It's way too big for Baton Rouge. Like that
Yes.
stretch.
Oh, it's
The rest of it is perfect neighborhood Baton Rouge type.
yeah.
It's such a good parade.
Great time.
We've got a lot to talk about today. We'll get to Google Glass in a little bit, and a few other topics, but I've got to start with yesterday's hearings.
Oh God.
What an absolute farce. Look, I work in a communication business. I believe in government transparency. I believe the more information out there, the better. And with all that, I will say congressional hearings need to be sealed at this point.
This is my favorite quote. Representative Dan Crenshaw, when he was grandstanding in front of the CEO of TikTok, Mr. Chu, he said, and this is Dan Crenshaw of Texas, I want to say this to all the teenagers out there and TikTok influencers who think we're just old and out of touch. And he should have just stopped at that point because he was right.
Mhm.
and we're not trying to take away your favorite app. We just want to protect you and your data. And so,
And that's probably the most reasonable thing said all day long.
except they're not looking at Google, they're not
Right.
looking at Facebook, they're not
Right.
looking at Twitter, they're not looking at Snapchat. I mean, again, China bad, California good.
Right.
Same. These
No,
companies.
wait. Go one step further. China bad. California selling to China good.
It just
It's the exact same thing. We just have to have the California middleman.
right, and so you've got this data, this algorithms that TikTok has, and they are the best algorithms out there as far as social media platforms.
Mhm.
What they are doing is just so good, and I don't have TikTok. I've never wanted a TikTok. It scares the crap
Yeah,
out
you
of
do.
me. No,
Yeah, you do.
You
Come
do.
on-
You do.
come to the
Haggai,
dark
you do.
side.
You do. We have
no,
cookies
I'm just not
and
going to
filters.
fall down that time suck and just never get out of the hole.
And this is the thing. This is a weird spot because every time, like a municipality or a business or anything wants to ban TikTok on, like if you got a company phone, you got to get rid of TikTok, or we'll ban TikTok on the company phones. I'm fine with that. Not from a China perspective.
Yes,
From it's a time suck perspective.
100% agree.
I mean, there are days where I won't look at TikTok, and there are days where, and I'll admit it, I will hand in the air. And if you're not putting your hand in the air and you have TikTok, you're a liar. There are days where you will spend 2 to 3 hours of your day,
and
1 to 3 minutes at a time.
I know my personality in that if I had TikTok, I would fall down that and never get out of that hole.
I watched half of The Wolf of Wall Street in 1 minute increments. I should probably go back and watch the actual movie. But it's like video clips. It's just so much there.
So this poor guy, this CEO, he stands there or sits there for 5 hours while every one of these Congress people, these representatives, are just sitting there getting their sound bite for reelection. That hey, I'm beating up on that TikTok group. And look, this was a rare thing that TikTok has unified the Republicans and the Democrats because they both equally hate TikTok.
Right.
They're
Well,
both running.
Those on the Hill equally hate TikTok. Meanwhile, the rest of us equally hate the Hill.
Exactly. And so
It's so TikTok has managed to turn America against America.
it's just unbelievable that
I'm watching some of it yesterday, and I wish I could remember the verbiage of the question, and I wish I could remember which representative it was. But I'm just going to go ahead and you play Mr. Chu, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make up a question, but we're going to reenact kind of how it played out.
All right.
Mr. Chu, why did TikTok hire people to follow my children down the street and chase them with a stick? No, you shut up when I ask you a question. You did this. Just say you did it. Say it. Say it. Say it. Say yes. Say yes. Do it. You did this.
Well, it may not have been the way it happened.
No, it happened. Just say yes. The number of times, and there were multiple congresspersons who the number of times just say yes. The number of times he was reminded that perjury is can be under the penalty of law. You don't perjure yourself in front of Congress. They kept reminding him that. They kept telling him how to answer the questions they were answering or they were asking. And then on top of that, they weren't giving him room to answer.
No, they weren't. And the fact that and they kept citing all of these articles that, where shows where, TikTok or China is spying on the U.S. through TikTok. And so this poor guy is sitting up there saying, TikTok is owned by ByteDance and ByteDance is owned, 60% as foreign investors. The Chinese government does not own us. And every time he kept saying something like that, the next representative up would just repeat the same things and tell him he was wrong. And okay, I get it. You're campaigning. I'm not sitting and don't, when I say China bad, California good, I'm not trying to say anything nice about China. It's just that's the difference.
It's the only difference.
Yeah, TikTok is a Chinese-owned company,
right? And which, by the way, that was another one they were asking him about. They said, "Why do you meet with the Communist Prime Minister of China on a regular basis?" He's like, "I don't meet." He's like, "You do." I said, "No, I don't." And it was like they were trying to gaslight him in real time on C-SPAN. The whole thing left me infuriated. And look, we've seen how many times throughout American history have we seen Congress or the Senate waste America's time with hearings like this? Mark McGuire and Rafael Palmeiro have been in front of Congress to talk about steroids in baseball.
The thing
this was worse than that.
The one thing that Mr. Chu said, the millions of people who use TikTok, the influencers who make money, who make their living. If you ban TikTok, you're going to put these people out of jobs. All these companies that do advertising and have revenue generated because of TikTok, because it's wildly popular.
Yeah,
I mean that's real, and so you take that away, and you're hurting businesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are. You're also stifling speech. One avenue of speech. I want to be very clear about that. You're stifling one avenue of speech for 150 million Americans. Now, 150 million Americans do not use that avenue of speech as an avenue of any import. They use that avenue of speech as an escape mechanism to get away from all the other bull that we put up with because of the same body that Mr. Chu was in front of. All right, we're coming up on a break. We're not anywhere near done, though. He's Haggai Davis, joins us for a cup of tech gumbo every Friday. Full serving, Saturday and Sunday at 4 right here on Talk 107.3. I'm going to check traffic and your money now. Right now, it's 6:46. Coming back next. I got visibly red. Not just mad, but like my complexion changed. Oh, my God. She's got boxing gloves on. Is that the new traffic girl? Is that who replaced Ashley? Yeah. Yeah, when Ashley Frugier got pregnant. Yeah. She got all pregnant. There's going to be complaints about me making fun of the story with the dead guy. I hate that so much.
you want to talk about Apple and the USB-C,
Yeah, let's do that.
because they're gonna once they put the USB-C ports on it, if you're gonna have to get the Apple cable to be able to get the full USB-C bandwidth. If you get an aftermarket, they're gonna throttle it back. You,
All the aftermarket connectors right now crap out after a week. They've already done this. Like yeah.
but I mean, USB-C 3.2 allows for up to 20 gigabits of throughput. But if you don't buy the Apple product, they're only going to allow 400, maybe 500 megabits of throughput, or 1/50th of the standardized capabilities of USB-C. Apple being Apple, you got to buy our stuff, or we're gonna shit on you.
Yeah, they do. They do. Are you? Wow! You're trying to get to work just so you can fake it. Oh, Taylor.
Yeah,
Taylor is in last day before vacation form. I need water. I'll be back.
get me to the church on time. I'm getting married in the morning. Ding dong, wedding bells will chime. It was My Fair Lady, wasn't it?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I hate it when I make jokes about death and people complain about it because I don't make jokes about death often. It's got to be a very rare. I remember one time at J-Bo, I made a joke about Anna Nicole Smith. And this, in all fairness, this was Bill Perfita's fault. He set me up. He set me up bad.
He knew what he was doing.
And you walked right into
Well,
it.
It was CSI Miami was really hot at the time, and we had this running bit where because if David Caruso always had that last line right before the yeah. So whatever the news was of the day, we do this like probably twice a week. Whatever the news was, because I was producing his show.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have a speaking role on the show regularly, just chime in as producer every once in a while. But whatever the news was of the day, he'd hit me with like, what would Lieutenant Kane say about that? And I'd come up with some kind of witty one-liner. And so if you recall, Anna Nicole Smith, like OD'd, collapsed, and died in the lobby of a hotel. Right? So Perfita hits me with it, and I was like, looks like Anna Nicole just checked out. And then hit the Who. And this woman called on the air and berated me. That woman was a mother and a daughter. And I said she was a junkie and a whore.
She's a whore.
Oh, man. I got in so much trouble for that.
Hooah.
She was number one, she was a hooah. .652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. 71 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Cup of Tech Gumbo rolling right along. Haggai Davis in here with us, as he is every week. All right, we got to close the book on the TikTok for two reasons. Number one, we could probably talk about it until the women's basketball game is over with, and they don't tip till 4 this afternoon on 100.7 The Tiger. Cross promote.
I like it. Our
Right?
sister state.
That's right.
Company guy.
That's where I'm at. Team player, baby. We could. The thing, though, is I would turn red and then purple. I get visibly angry about this, so we got to move on. Also, there's a million other really good things to talk about in the tech world right now. And when I say good, I mean important, not necessarily good. Apple's letting us know that if you don't feel like Apple's screwing you yet, they're about to turn it up a notch.
So when iPhone 15 comes out, they're actually going to get rid of the Lightning port that's been on the iPhones for the last 4 or 5 versions, or however many versions.
Which they changed to just to make it simple across the board. They said, this is the way it's going to be now.
Well, now they're going to the USB-C, which is the standard port on the Android phones, on most computers nowadays, and that's good. It's USB-C allows for up to 20 gigabits of throughput, and Apple has made it be known. They have not made this official yet, but if you don't buy the Apple-made or Apple-approved USB-C cables, you're only going to get 450 megabits of throughput, not the 20 gigabits of throughput. So you have to buy the Apple products, or Apple's going to make things really, really slow. That's just Apple being Apple.
Yeah. Look, as an Apple user, I'm used to it. I tell you what, if Congress could take 15 minutes out of berating TikTok to move over and tell all cell phone companies, if you want to sell cell phones in America, you got to have one uniform plug. If you don't, forget it. Don't sell them here.
That's the whole reason why the iPhone is going to the USB-C, is that's because the European Union, the EU, came out and said, you have to do this way. You can't have that different port in cell phones on the European continent anymore. So Apple is moving because the EU is doing it, not because they want to do it. They're kicking, dragging, and screaming.
So we will be in line then with everything else.
Yes. And
you know what? I'll take it. That's actually an improvement for me. As an Apple user, that's an improvement for me.
I mean, I have an iPhone. I hate the damn thing, but I have an iPhone, and it's it's good, great. We're all going to have the same USB-C ports going forward when you go out and buy your iPhone 15.
Yeah. Well, it's like when they switched to the Lightning plug, that ruined me forever because we're doing this to make it more uniform across the board. No, you're not. You're doing this to make a change.
You're doing it to make money because you can go sell the
exactly
Lightning port cable.
The same reason that Major League Baseball has throwback jerseys. It's not to honor the past. It's to sell more jerseys. Oh, and by the way, there's no headphone adapter now. Oh, but we have a dongle. I got your dongle. Don't give me you plug the dongle into the Lightning into the headphone. And I know wireless headphones make it all obsolete anyway. It's constantly being pitched something that's not what I'm actually being pitched.
Right. And
don't Ascension Parish water system on my leg and tell me it's raining.
That's a good line.
Thank you.
I was about to turn your mic off.
That's cool. All right. Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
And you could even call it the Donaldsonville water because it wasn't Donaldsonville.
Right.
It was on the other side of the river.
Yeah. That's the differentiating factor.
That West Bank water.
Well, standing and applauding you right now. They're like, Glass sucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's very, very seldom that Google brings something back a second time that they've killed. But they did. They tried to bring Google Glass back, and it was $1,500. They couldn't get it below $1,500, and all it was doing was just taking pictures. It was just like having the spy camera on your glasses because it was not giving you any kind of heads-up display. They couldn't get it to work, and so they just dumped the whole idea a second time.
I love it. I'm waiting for round 3. Round 3 is going to be just like the Jaws franchise. Round 3 is going to be the winner, baby.
That's,
$999 they got it down to this time, and they were taking a hit on that, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah, they were losing more.
They're like, let's go ahead. This will be a loss leader until it's not.
We'll sell it for
it's so
we
good.
get it down to $1,000, and it is a bad camera at that point.
Yeah.
As opposed to the camera with the 2 billion megapixels on the phone that does work.
So Google Glass is this just an example of the world telling Google Glass enough, or is this an example of the tech world being told there's only so far you can go.
It's the latter.
Okay.
The technology's just not there yet. Everybody wants the heads-up display so that you're walking around. You don't have to pull your phone out to look up something you want to be able to see. That and we're just not there yet with technology. People think that there's so much more that you can do with technology because you see it in the movies,
Mm-hmm.
and the movies just aren't real. Surprise?
Are you saying Hollywood's lying to us? They've been lying all these years?
Not lying. They're entertaining.
Sure.
There's a big difference between
You know-
entertainment and reality.
True.
And
Very true.
yes, there's a reason it's called science fiction. They tell you up front it's fiction, and then these yakkadoodles get together and say, "Let's make this happen," whether it can happen or not, and not even matter whether it can happen or not. Like we go to the Jeff Goldblum line all the time. You spent so much time wondering if you can, you never asked if you should.
Oh, so we're talking about Chat GPT now?
Yes. So Google's keeping it with Google, and we've got less. Oh, we don't have enough time. The new Chat GPT is boring.
Bard is boring compared to Chat GPT, which is
yes,
for Microsoft.
the
Google-
AI chatbot
yeah.
from Google. Yeah.
Google Bard.
Yeah.
It's considered boring. 'Cause
Bard.
all it does is just give you the answer.
BARD should have been BORED.
Yeah.
He's Haggai Davis, host of Chat Gumbo, full serving Saturday and Sunday at 4. Well, on that show this week.
We're going to do a lot of dive into the AI, the Chat GPT, and all of that, and why we shouldn't be doing it because it's out of control already.
Mm-hmm.
Scary.
Yeah.
It's frightening. I want to go back to just talking about SpaceX and things that are fun to talk
Don't
about.
say his name out loud because he will appear. It's time for ABC News. Hour 2's up next. Yeah. Elon. Whoa.
Like, yeah, Voldemort.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
We-
shall
we-
not be
we-
named.
We started calling him Voldemort instead of Musk.
Yeah. I mean, it
I mean,
makes sense.
It just. When was the last time a company this high profile, with this much influence, had leadership doing the stupid things that Musk is doing with Twitter? I mean, short of going to New Coke, I
Ugh.
mean, that's as close as I can get to.
Crystal Pepsi.
But nobody cared
Man,
about Crystal Pepsi.
I want Crystal Pepsi back. If the world can bring back Zima, the world can bring back Crystal Pepsi.
Neither should be in existence.
The story I wanted to get to about the chatbots, though, was Google and Microsoft chatbots are already citing one another in a misinformation shit show.
Yeah.
The word shit show's in the headline, Haggai.
I know.
Wow.
No.
Shit show's in the headline.
It's no other way to describe it. Like that. We just have to use this.
Undoing all this from the internet, because every time it's up there, it's published again.
Yes.
Undoing all
And-
this
and so
from the
these-
internet is going to be putting the crap back in the horse.
So these two, Bard and ChatGPT and all of the other large language platforms, are just creating content, and they read an article, and now it's part of their
Right. But
and-
they read an article that another AI has written.
right, and then
Right.
they're bringing it back, and they're just going back and forth with each other, and it's so out of control. What this ChatGPT is going to start doing now that Microsoft is pushing this into your Microsoft Office 365 products, and
Burn it down.
so you can take you can just type out a paragraph or have it type out a paragraph about the French Revolution was one of the examples we found.
Ooh, okay.
And
Off
then-
with their heads.
And then you can say, okay, now create a PowerPoint video. So it goes out and it finds pictures on the web,
Yeah.
and it'll create a PowerPoint presentation for you about the French Revolution. Then you can say, give me some stats, and then it'll create a spreadsheet to dump in the deaths and injuries and everything in the French Revolution.
Whether they're right or not.
And then because in a lot of companies they're banning the use of ChatGPT because they're saying, well, gee, Bob, that's a really nice report. Your timesheet says you spent 4 hours on it, but Bob did it in about 2 minutes because ChatGPT did it for him, and then Bob took a nap.
Yeah.
And so why are we paying you all this money, Bob, when ChatGPT just did your work for you?
Yep.
And
About it.
now why do we need Bob?
We don't need Bob.